What if I told you that one of the oldest families of humanity didn't just appear? What if the language spoken by your grandmother in Madurai or Hyderabad holds the secret code to the greatest civilization the ancient world ever saw? We are talking about a story that spans 10,000 years, involves a lost continent swallowed by the sea, and a script that no one has been able to read for a century. Until now. Most people think history is just dates and dead kings, but the story of the Dravidians, the ancestors of 250 million people, is a thriller. It's a survival story against climate change, shifting rivers, and invading empires. Today, we aren't just looking at old pots. We are cracking the DNA code of the Indus Valley and finding out if the legends of a sunken land are actually true. Stick around, because the map of India is about to change forever. Okay, picture this. You're looking at a map of languages. Up north, you've got the Indo-European family, Hindi, Bengali, Punjabi. They're the popular kids, related to English, Greek, and Farsi. But look south. You see the Dravidian languages, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, and Malayalam. And they are alone. Linguists call this an isolate situation, which is just a fancy way of saying we have no idea who their parents are. But history is never that static. The story actually begins thousands of miles away in the rugged peaks of the Zagros Mountains around 8000 BCE. These weren't Persians or Arabs, these were the Zagrosian farmers. They were the first people to herd goats and build mud brick villages. And here is where it gets spicy. Geneticists sequenced their DNA and they found a massive match. These farmers are the primary ancestors of the Indus Valley people. This brings us to the Elamo-Dravidian Hypothesis. There was an extinct language in ancient Iran called Elamite. Linguists noticed that Elamite and Dravidian look suspiciously like twins separated at birth. In both languages, the word for you is ni. The way they glue words together is identical. It's like finding an ancient iPhone charger in a Roman ruin. It suggests a connection that shouldn't exist, but totally does. So these farmers moved east and built the Indus Valley Civilization. While Egyptians were stacking rocks for pyramids, these guys were building flashing toilets. Seriously! Mohenjo-daro was the New York City of the Bronze Age. But the million-dollar question has always been, what language did they speak? We have thousands of seals with writing on them, but it's the ultimate cold case. No one can read them. Or can they? Enter scholar Asko Parpala. He noticed the most common sign is a fish. Why fish? He used the rebus principle, using a picture to represent a sound. In Proto-Dravidian, the word for fish is mean, but mean has a homophone. It also means star. Suddenly, the seals aren't a menu, they're astronomy. A seal with 6 lines and a fish, Arumin. That's the old Tamil name for the Pleiades constellation. It fits too well to be an accident. If you need more proof, look at the Brahui people. They live way up in the mountains of Pakistan, surrounded by Indo-European speakers, but they speak Dravidian language. For years, people thought they migrated there later, but genetics proves they are a relict population, living fossils. They are likely the last holdout of the Dravidian speakers who once covered the entire Indus region before everyone else moved south. But the real smoking gun came in 2019. Scientists analyzed DNA from a 4,500-year-old woman in Rakhigarhi, an Indus city. Her DNA had 0 steppe or Aryan ancestry. She was a mix of those Iranian farmers and indigenous South Indians. This proves that the people who built these cities were the direct ancestors of modern South Indians. The Indus Valley was the Dravidian homeland before the Great Decline. Around 1900 BCE, the rivers dried up and the cities emptied. This triggered a massive migration south. As they moved, they left breadcrumbs. In Maharashtra and Gujarat today, hundreds of town names end in Pali and Ur. These are Dravidian words for village and town. They are Dravidian ghosts haunting the map of North India, proving that these speakers once lived all the way down the coast. Once they hit the south, the family fractured. Proto-Dravidian split. First, Telugu branched off in the Deccan Plateau. We see this in the famous Kalamala inscription. Then Kannada. The longest holdout was between Tamil and Malayalam. They were siblings until the 9th century. But while linguists look at inscriptions, the poets remember something much darker. This is the legend of Kumari Kandam. You've heard of Atlantis. Well, South India has its own version. Ancient Tamil Sangam literature doesn't talk about Aryan invasions, it talks about the sea. The epic Silappatikaram describes the port city of Puchar being swallowed by the ocean. Poems describe kings throwing spears at the waves in rage because they lost their land. For centuries, people thought this was just a fairy tale, but geology disagrees. 12,000 years ago, sea levels were 100 meters lower. Sri Lanka was connected to India by a massive land bridge. As the Ice Age ended, the water rose, drowning thousands of square kilometers. The Dravidian enigma isn't just about fleeing the north, it's about being squeezed from the south. That trauma, the loss of a homeland to the water, is baked into the very soul of the culture. And just to leave you with one final mind-blown moment, some theories suggest the migration went even further east. Linguists have noticed bizarre similarities between Tamil and Korean. Mom is Amma in Tamil, Omma in Korean. Dad is Appa in both. Is it a coincidence? Maybe. But when you look at the resilience of this family, you start to think maybe nothing is impossible for them. The story of the Dravidians is a testament to human adaptation. They built the plumbing of the ancient world, survived the collapse of civilizations, and endured the drowning of their lands. The next time you hear a word in Tamil or Telugu, remember you might be hearing an echo from the streets of Mohenjo-daro. So, do you buy the Korean connection? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe.